Hello everybody, my name is Morgan Gard and this is your pack preview for day 2 of the Lindsey Wilson tournament. And fresh off the court with me is Coach Niekamp to discuss day 2. So hello Coach, how are you?
Hello Morgan, I'm good, thank you.
Well, thank you for coming. This is day 2 and you faced a lot of conference teams, not just in these 2 days, but over the past 9 days. Is there a strategy behind playing so many different conferences?
You know, it gives us a different look on the court every time we're out there. So many different teams bring so many different things to the court. So it's a great learning experience for us to try to expose their weaknesses and learn from our own. So I think we're going to learn a lot over these couple tournaments.
Do you think you can bring the knowledge of other conferences to the KIAC?
Absolutely. I think we're going to be able to find parallels between teams whenever we get into a conference play. So I think it's going to help us a lot.
Okay, well, one conference team that is new to IU East is the first game today. It's Union, Kentucky, and they're the Bulldogs. They have a huge roster and a great last season. What do you know about them?
Well, they consistently finish in the top 2 of their conference. They trade off with Montreat every year, so I don't expect anything different from them this year.
Great to hear. And your second game today is Bethel, Tennessee, not Bethel, Indiana. And they have a coach who's been there since the beginning. Her name is Starla Couples, and like I said, she definitely knows Wildcat volleyball. You're in your second full year here at IU East. Has it been easier for you? What have you learned?
Yeah, we grew a lot as a team this past year, I think. I think going into the second year, me as well as the returners are really comfortable in the atmosphere that we've kind of created here, and we're building on that. So I think we've done a lot of great things, and it's allowed us to make a lot of good changes for this year.
Okay, that's great to hear. As a coach, do you think you and Mallory, coach to player, have a telepathic connection out on the court and in practice?
You know, it's funny, after 3 years with her, whenever we do defensive drills and I'm hitting at them, I cannot get anything past her. She knows exactly where I'm hitting every time. It's like she goes straight to the spot. So I think after 3 years of being together, we definitely have developed that. We have a great relationship and we have a great bond after being together so long. So yeah, I would say that we do.
Lastly, both teams have international players. Have you ever experienced, as a player or as a coach, any international players?
I don't think as a team that we've faced any international players yet that I can think of, but I played with a lot in college and I've played against a lot, and what's really interesting about that is they bring such different styles of play with them from wherever they're from. You know, whether it's ball control or their arm swings or their serve, they bring a lot to the table. So it's always interesting to play against them and play with them.
Well, they have 2 girls from Brazil and then one from Serbia. Do you know anything about their playing styles?
My assistant coach when I was at Buffalo was actually from Brazil. Ooh. So they just bring a lot of fire. They're very energetic. Same with, I had a teammate from Serbia and she was very similar. They're just very aggressive in the gym and they're a lot of fun to play with.
Well, great coach. It's great having you and good luck on day 2.
Thank you.
Thank you. And let's fly this one over to our live commentators at Lindsey Wilson.
All right, thank you, Morgan. Welcome back to the Lindsey Wilson College Classic in Columbia, Kentucky at the Bigger Sports Center. We are glad to have you with us once again. Yesterday, the IU East Red Wolves came over here to the Lindsey Wilson College Classic, went 0-2 for the evening, and their record dropped to 2-4 on the season. In the first matchup, they played the University of Northwestern Ohio Racers, where they fell in 4 sets. IU East jumped out with the first set win 25-18, and then Northwestern Ohio swept it from there 25-17, 25-21, and 25-18. Then the Red Wolves turned around and played the host school, the Lindsey Wilson College Blue Raiders. IU East went into that matchup 2-3 and fell to the Blue Raiders 3-0 with scores of 25-15, 25-12, and 25-9. So we're back here at the Lindsey Wilson College Classic. Coming into today's matchup, Mallory Livingston with 2.8 kills per set, Morgan Steinbrenner with 0.7 blocks per set, sophomore Bailey Gates with 0.4 aces per set, and Abby Ketchum with 4.7 assists per set, and Madison Yoder 3.6 digs per set are IU East team leaders in their respective statistical categories. So taking a look at Union College out of Kentucky, they are the Bulldogs. Taking a look at them, this is their first event of the season, and they went 30-10 last season and won the Appalachian Athletic Conference tournament. Their senior libero setter Anna Calaza was 25th in the nation last season with 5.43 digs per set. And taking a look here at the Union College website at their volleyball team, they come into today's game with a record of 1-1. They opened up their season yesterday, as I just mentioned. Their first game was against Cumberland, where they lost, it looks like 5, with scores of 17-25, 21-25, 25-20, 25-14, and 15-10. And then they turned around and played KIAC opponent IU Southeast. That's our conference opponent, with a win there in 4 with scores of 15-25, 21-25, 25-18, and 19-25. They picked up the win there over IU Southeast. Also, just a little bit of a side note, the game we were just watching was between Lindsey Wilson College and Grace College. We were up at the Grace College tournament last weekend up there in Winona Lake, Indiana. We lost to Grace 3-2, and we also lost to Lindsey Wilson 3-0. Interesting fact about that, Grace lost to Lindsey Wilson College 3-0 as well. So coming into this matchup, the Red Wolves definitely ready. A little bit more time to rest after last night's match. It was late night getting out of here and about another 45-minute drive back to the hotel. So by the time we all got back there last night, everyone obviously was just exhausted coming into the matchup. We're going to take a quick break and be right back with more IU East volleyball right here on the Red Wolves Sports Network.
This is where a busy mom can work toward a bachelor's degree from a top national university during softball practice. It's where a service member can continue his college studies from anywhere in the world, and where you'll benefit from one of the country's most effectively delivered online programs.
Woohoo!
So, if you've ever wondered if a college education is really worth it, this is where you'll see that it is. This is Indiana University East Online.
And welcome back to IU East Volleyball on the Red Wolves Sports Network. Glad to have you back. I'm Caleb Yullock, the voice of your IU East Red Wolves. Red Wolves come into this matchup with a record of 2 wins and 4 losses. And the Bulldogs from Union College come into the matchup with a record of 1 win and 1 loss. So it will definitely be interesting to see how this match turns out. Not a lot of information out there yet on the Bulldogs from Union. Had a chance to talk with Coach Abby Niekamp, and she was interested to see how this matchup turns out as well. So both teams out on the floor. We'll have the starters for you here in just a moment as IU East breaks from their huddle and goes back to the bench. Looks like out on the floor right now for IU East is going to be Hannah Best, Bella Pavey, Morgan Steinbrenner, along with Abby Ketchum, Sydney Durham, and Madison Yoder. Looks like the starters out there on the floor, along with Mallory Livingston. If I didn't name her off already, those are all players out on the floor right now for the IU East Red Wolves. This is the first game of the day. Once again, thanks for joining us. It's 3 o'clock here, or 2 o'clock here, 3 o'clock back at IU East. So we're getting a little bit of a head start compared to what we were expected to have for today's game. And looks like the Bulldogs will serve to start things off. Here's the serve. Goes over to Madison Yoder with the dig. There's the set, and Abby Ketchum with the attack. One more set and a dig here by the Bulldogs. Gets it across, blocked up front by Durham. And this is going to go out of bounds. A point to IU East. Gets them on the board with the 1-0 start. So a 1-0 start here for the Red Wolves. There's the serve from Sydney Durham. And there's another point to IU East after it goes out of bounds. It's now 2-0. So a 2-0 start here early on in the first set. This goes across the net and lands over there on the IU East side. It's going to be a point to get the Bulldogs on the board. So now it's 2-1. Here's the serve for the Bulldogs. Goes over to Hannah Best with the dig. Here's Morgan Steinbrenner getting it across for the Red Wolves. Set goes back to Best. Katie was able to tip it over that time for IU East. This is going to be a point to the Red Wolves off of 2 hits. And now have the 3-1 lead. Abby Ketchum goes back to serve now for the Red Wolves. Ketchum from Perry Meridian High School over in Indianapolis. There's the dig. There's the cross over to the back row to Hannah Best. Set by Abby Ketchum. Here's Mallory Livingston. This is going to go up into the ceiling. Saved by the Bulldogs. They get it back across. And it's going to be out of bounds. A point to the Red Wolves. Now 4-1. Red Wolves off with a 3-point advantage. Now here's the serve from Abby Ketchum. Cross blocked up front, and another point to IU East off of legal lift, and now it's 5-1. There's the set. Ketchum set by Yoder. Best gets it back across for IU East. And there's a point to IU East, 6-1. And it's going to be a timeout. The official scoreboard here inside the gym has 5-1, but we'll take a quick break and be right back with more IU East volleyball right here on the Red Wolves Sports Network.
This is where a busy mom can work toward a bachelor's degree from a top national university during softball practice. It's where a service member can continue his college studies from anywhere in the world, and where you'll benefit from one of the country's most effectively delivered online programs.
Woohoo!
So, if you've ever wondered if a college education is really worth it, this is where you'll see that it is. This is Indiana University East Online.
And welcome back to IU East Volleyball on the Red Wolves Sports Network. It is now a 5-point lead for the Red Wolves, 6-1. They have it corrected here on the official scoreboard. And it's a 5-point lead for IU East. Abby Ketchum still back to serve for IU East. And we are ready to get going here at the start of the first set. A 6-1 lead once again for IU East. Here's the serve from Ketchum. There's the dig set by the Bulldogs. Goes across and off the hands of Madison Yoder. And that'll give a point to Union. It's now 6-2. Going back to serve for Union is number 3. That is Bella Salazar, a 5'2 sophomore from Arlington, Texas. Went to Oak Ridge High School. Serve goes across, and it's going to be a service error. A point to the Red Wolves, now 7-2. And that puts the senior on the roster for IU East back to serve. It's Mallory Livingston. Serve goes across. There's the dig. And the set. Gets it across. It's going to be out of bounds. A point to IU East. Now 8-2. So IU East off to a great start here on Saturday afternoon. Goes across. Morgan Steinbrenner gets it over the net that time for the Red Wolves. There's Livingston with the dig. And Steinbrenner's attack will go out of bounds and gives a point back to Union, 8-3. A server coming in here for the Bulldogs. That's going to be number 6. That's Ivana Kazik, a 5'8 junior from Serbia. Went to Columbus State down in Georgia. There's There's the dig by Ketchum. Yoder gets it back across to Laza. And here is the dig by Yoder. Bedell with the attack and the kill. That's a point for the Red Wolves. Now 9-3. With a 6-point advantage here for the Red Wolves in the first set. Madison Yoder, the sophomore from Ben Davis High School, serves over to the Bulldogs. There's the set. Goes back across to Mallory Livingston with the dig. Set by Ketchum. Bedell tries to tip it across, but it's going to be blocked up front by the Bulldogs, and it's 9-4. Don't forget the Red Wolves will be playing Bethel University out of Tennessee coming up later this evening. That game was originally scheduled for 7:30 IU East time, and it's going to be out of bounds. A point to the Red Wolves. But with the way things are running a little bit ahead of schedule here at the Lindsey Wilson College Classic, be prepared for that game to start a little early. Bella Pavey back to serve now for IU East. Here's the serve from the newcomer from Union County High School. Set by Pavey. Yoder with the dig. Ketchum gets it across this time. Goes into the Bulldog back row. There's a set and an attack. Goes just past Bella Pavey. And a point to Union. Now 10-5. For the Bulldogs, Lovera back to serve now. That's Anna Calaza. And a point to the Bulldogs. There's the IU East lead down to 4, 10-6. So a 4-point advantage for the IU East Red Wolves, but the Bulldogs trying to close down that lead. Durham gets it across this time for the Red Wolves. Set by Calaza. And that's going to be a point to IU East off of 2 hits. Gives them back a 5-point lead, 11-6. Hannah Best going back to serve. Also one of the newcomers on the IU East roster. She's a 5'2 sophomore from Greenfield who transferred here from Campbellsville University. It's going to go out of bounds and a point to the Union Bulldogs, 11-7. So a 4-point lead still for the IU East Red Wolves. Here's the set by Pavey. And Livingston with the kill is going to make it 12-7. Back up to a 5-point lead for the Red Wolves, approaching almost halfway through the first set. Sending Durham back to serve. Stands at 6-1 for Noblesville, and there's a point to the Bulldogs off the service error. And it's now 12-8. There's the Bulldog server. Cross. The set by Pavey. Livingston with the attack. Goes out of bounds and hits the line judge. Now that lead has been narrowed down to 3, 12-9. Here's the serve. Server was Bella Salazar, a 5'2 sophomore. She's going to be going out of the game after a point put up on the board for IU East. Now it's 13-9. Here's the serve from Ketchum. Goes across to the Bulldogs. There's the set, and the attack goes over to Yoder, and it's going to be hit out of bounds. A point to the Bulldogs. They now have double digits on the scoreboard. Should be 13-10. Calaza back to serve now for the Bulldogs. It was actually Salazar that time. The serve for that was Elam. There's a point to the Bulldogs. 11-13. Narrows the lead down to 2. And here's the serve from Salazar. There goes across to Madison Yoder, gets one hand on it. Trying to save it, but it goes out of bounds, and now it is 13-12. Red Wolves only have a 1-point lead here in the first set. Salazar continuing to serve for the Bulldogs out of Union College. Salazar's serve goes over to Hannah Best with the dig, set by Ketchum. Here is Missy Bedell. Goes back across the net and lands out of bounds. A good move there by the Red Wolves. And that makes it 14-12. Back up by 2. Mallory Livingston goes back to serve for IU East. Livingston, a 5'9" senior from Union City, Ohio, went to Mississinawa Valley High School. Serve goes across. There's the dig. Attack goes over to Yoder. And there is Livingston. That time getting the ball across for the Red Wolves. Back over to Yoder with the dig. Set by Ketchum. And here is Bailey Gates. That's her name now once in the broadcast. And now it is 15-12. So IU East with a 3-point advantage here in the first set. There's the set and the kill. That kill was by number 8. That is Rachel Andrews. She's a 5'11" sophomore out of Louisville. And that narrows it down to a 2-point game once again, 15-13 into the first set. Here's the serve, goes over to Bailey Gates, and that's going to be an ace, 15-14. Here's the serve, goes over to Madison Yoder with the dig, set by Ketchum, and going to be out of bounds, a point to the Bulldogs, ties it up at 15. So 15 all here in the first set. Back to serve is Ivana Kazik, a 5'8" junior. We mentioned she's from Serbia. There's the dig, set by Ketchum. Bedell tips it over, and it's going to be out of bounds. And now the Bulldogs have their first lead in the matchup. As IU East now trails by 1. Coach Abby Niekamp wants to take a timeout. 16-15, Union has a lead. We'll be right back with more IU East volleyball right here on the IU East Red Wolves Sports Network.
This is where a busy mom can work toward a bachelor's degree from a top national university during softball practice. It's where a service member can continue his college studies from anywhere in the world, and where you'll benefit from one of the country's most effectively delivered online programs.
Woohoo!
So, if you've ever wondered if a college education is really worth it, this is where you'll see that it is. This is Indiana University East Online.
And welcome back to IU East Volleyball on the Red Wolves Sports Network. It is now a 16-15 that's a 16-15 lead for Union. IU East trailing by 1 here in the matchup. IU East playing the Union College Bulldogs out of Kentucky. So waiting for the Bulldogs to continue to serve. They're on a little bit of a rally here in the first set. Coming back to take the lead now by 2 points. 17-15, a 2-point lead. There's the serve. Goes over to Mallory Livingston with the dig. Set up front by Ketchum. Blocked up front by a duo of Bulldog players. Looked like possibly number 25 was in on that one. Number 25 is Summer Manning, a 5'2 senior from Taylor Mill, Kentucky. Went to Scott County High School. There's one of those up there in the front row and on that block that time. This goes over to Yoder. Steinbrenner tries to tip it across, but blocked up front, and another point to Union, now 19-15, up by 4. Ivana Kazik still back to serve for the Bulldogs of Union College. There's the dig by Yoder, and that's going to be another point to the Bulldogs, now 20-15. The serve goes over to Yoder with the dig. Catch him with one as well, and Gates with the attack that goes out of bounds. And now it's 21-15. The Bulldogs still on a rally. Here's the set by Steinbrenner. Kept alive up front by the Bulldogs, and now it's blocked up front, and a point to IU East to narrow the lead down to 5. It's now 21-16. Madison Yoder will serve now for the Red Wolves. A 5-point lead for IU East. Here's the serve. With the dig that time for the Red Wolves, set by Ketchum. Here's Missy Bedell. Goes over to the back row just past Mallory Livingston, and it's 22-16. The Red Wolves up by 6, or down by 6, excuse me. And back to serve now for the Bulldogs, number 7, that's Carson Gray. Serve from Gray goes over. The attack by Livingston. The set goes over and set by Ketchum. Gates with the attack, and it's going to be tipped out of bounds off of the hands of the Bulldog players, and now it is 22-17 in the first set. The Red Wolves trail by 5. Here's the serve from Bellepavy. Goes over into the back row for the Bulldogs and off the net. Another point to IU East, 22-18. IU East now taking their turn at narrowing down the lead. Here's the serve. Goes into the back row to Calaza. Ketchum gets blocked up front. Rebels almost able to keep the ball alive. But it's going to result in a point to the Bulldogs, 23-18. So back up to a 5-point lead. The Bulldogs trying to close out the first set. Here's the serve. Goes over, and it's going to be a service error. A point to IU East, now 23-19. Hannah Best will go back to serve for the Red Wolves. Best a 5'2 sophomore. Here's the serve. Goes over into a service error and a point to the Bulldogs. 24-19 brings up set point. Number 17 on the Union roster, Chandler Gray. She will go back to serve. The serve from Chandler Gray goes over to Madison Yoder. Set by Pavey. Livingston gets it across. And that's going to be another point to Union. They'll win the first set 25-19 and lead the match 1-0. So Union jumps out with a 1-0 lead after rallying back After being down by about 3, they rally back and take the lead by 6 and hang on for the rest of the match. IU East tried to battle back as well, but just not quite able to catch up there in the first set. We'll take a break as we are taking a break between sets, so we'll be right back with more IU East volleyball. Union leads 1-0 right here on the Red Wolf Sports Network.
This is where a busy mom can work toward a bachelor's degree from a top national university during softball practice. It's where a service member can continue his college studies from anywhere in the world, and where you'll benefit from one of the country's most effectively delivered online programs.
Woohoo!
So, if you've ever wondered if a college education is really worth it, this is where you'll see that it is. This is Indiana University East Online.
My husband Larry came to Reed because he was in respiratory distress, and he came in through the emergency room and almost dying. The ethic of camaraderie and teamwork and customer service was extraordinary. After a few weeks of care with the fantastic staff in the medical, the CCU, the rehab departments, everywhere, he came home to me in one piece and ready to start the next stage of his life. We absolutely believe that Reed Hospital and the people here saved his life.
Dylan Newman had a terrible dislocated shoulder after a bad dirt bike accident. The long-term solution, surgery and intense rehab.
I trusted Reed Orthopedics because they had already fixed my ankle. And within 4 months of my surgery, Dr. Miller and my Reed therapist, April, helped me to regain my motion and most of my strength. Thanks to Reed Ortho, I can get back to what I love. It's all about trust. Right, Dr. Miller?
Right here at Reed.
Right here in Richmond.
My husband Larry came to Reed because he was in respiratory distress, and he came in through the emergency room and almost dying. The ethic of camaraderie and teamwork and customer service was extraordinary. After a few weeks of care with the fantastic staff in the medical, the CCU, the rehab departments, everywhere, he came home to me in one piece and ready to start the next stage of his life. We absolutely believe that Reed Hospital and the people here saved his life.
And welcome back to IU East Volleyball on the Red Wolf Sports Network. Union has the lead in the match with a 1-0 lead after winning the first set 25-19. And the Red Wolves tried to battle back after they were ahead. And Union was actually the one that rallied back from after being about 3 or 4 down and came back and took the lead by about 6 and then just hung on there for the rest of the first set. IU East tried to rally back several times, but just unable to take the win in the first set. So it looks like we're about ready to go here with the second set. Once again, thanks for joining us here on the Red Wolf Sports Network on your Saturday afternoon. We are at the Lindsey Wilson College Classic in Columbia, Kentucky. Red Wolves come into this matchup with a record of 2-4, and the Bulldogs come into the game with a record of 1-1. Back to serve for IU East is Hannah Best. Here's the serve, goes over to the Bulldogs. It's going to be into the back row with the set, and trying to get the block up front, but not able to get there in time. It's going to give Union the early 1-0 start here in the first set. So a 1-0 lead for Union. Also have the 1-0 lead in the match. Here's the serve from number 17. That's Chandler Gray. And that results in a point to the Red Wolves. We're all tied up now, 1-1. Sydney Durham goes back to serve for IU East out of Noblesville. And it's going to be a service error, a point to Union. Now 2-1. Trying to see who the Bulldogs server is. It looks like that time it was Melissa Elam. And that's going to be another point to Union, 3-1 after it goes out. And that is Elam that's back to serve now. She's actually from Muncie, Indiana, went to Delta High School. 5'11" sophomore. Livingston gets it across for the Red Wolves. Here's the set, goes over to Madison Yoder with the dig, set by Pavey. She gets it across, and this is going to be a point to IU East off of the illegal lift. So 1 point lead for Union, 3-2. Once again, just want to remind you of our broadcast coming up later this evening. 7:30 Indiana time start. But plan on that game time being bumped up a little bit. It's a 6:30 start here, but 7:30 back at home. And here's a point to Union, 4-2. Red Wolves will be taking on Bethel University out of Tennessee. The Wildcats, that's who the Red Wolves will be playing later on. We'll play now, sit out a game, and play one more, and then get on the bus and head back to Richmond overnight. Here's the serve, goes over to Madison Yoder with the dig. Best with one as well, but then Bedell gets it across for the Red Wolves. Here's the attack from the Bulldogs, kept alive by IU East, and this is going to be a point to Union off of 2 hits, 5-2. They're still back to serve is Carson Gray now for the Bulldogs. And this is going to be another point to the Bulldogs. Looks like a net violation that time, 6-2. Gray will continue to serve for the Bulldogs. And that goes over to IU East, a point to the Red Wolves, now 6-3. Here's the serve from Mallory Livingston, goes over the edge of the back row, blocked up front by Morgan Steinbrenner, and that's a point to the Red Wolves, 6-4. IU East now trying to come back here early on in the first set to prevent what happened there in the first set. 6-4. IU East trails by 2. Here's the serve from Mallory Livingston. Goes over into the Bulldog back row. Yoder with the dig, set by Abby Ketchum. Here's Missy Bedell with the attack, and that goes out of bounds off the hands of Chandler Gray. And that narrows the lead down to 1, 6-5 for the Red Wolves. Senior continues to serve for the Red Wolves, and it goes over into the back row with the dig. Libero gets it over this time, set to by Livingston. And Steinbrenner with a kill for the Red Wolves, ties it up at 6. IU East trying to take control here of the second set and tie the matchup. Here's the serve, goes over from Mallory Livingston. The attack, and it's going to be a point to the Red Wolves, taking the 1 point advantage here in the second set, 7-6 after it goes out of bounds. Now here's the serve. Goes over, there's the dig and the set. Attack goes over to Livingston, set by Ketchum. Here's Livingston, just gently gets it across the net, and it's going to go out of bounds and into the bleachers, 8-6. Livingston will continue to serve for IU East that has the 2 point lead. And Bailey Gates quick to react up there in the front row, gets it across, but the Bulldogs had an answer. And that's going to be a point to Union now. It's 8-7. So the server coming in for the Bulldogs, it's going to be number 6. That's Ivana Kazik, a 5'8" junior for Union College. Here's the serve. Goes over to the back row to Mallory Livingston, set by Ketchum up in the front row. Bedell with the attack, kept alive by the Bulldogs. Here it goes over once more to IU East, and off the hands of Madison Yoder. And now we have a tie game once again, 8-8 in the second set. Kazik continues to serve for Union College. Serve goes over to Madison Yoder with the dig. Almost goes back across, but set by Ketchum. Blocked up front. Steinbrenner fighting to keep it alive. And this is going to be out of bounds. A point to the Bulldogs. Now it's 9-8. Here's the serve. Comes over and it'll be a point to Union. Now 10-8. And there's going to be a timeout taken by IU East, so we'll take one as well. 10-8. Union has the lead in the set and a 1-0 lead in the match. We'll be right back with more IU East volleyball right here on the Red Wolf Sports Network.
Dylan Newman had a terrible dislocated shoulder after a bad dirt bike accident. The long-term solution, surgery and intense rehab.
I trusted Reed Orthopedics because they had already fixed my ankle. And within 4 months of my surgery, Dr. Miller and my Reed therapist, April, helped me to regain my motion and most of my strength. Thanks to Reed Ortho, I can get back to what I love. It's all about trust. Right, Dr. Miller?
Right here at Reed.
Right here in Richmond.
And welcome back to IU East Volleyball on the Red Wolf Sports Network. A 10-8 lead for Union College here in the second set. They also have the 1-0 lead in the matchup. The Red Wolves were able to fight back here early on in the first set and tie things up and take the lead. We're actually up, I believe, 8-6, and then now Union has answered back with a little bit of a run on their own, and they still have possession of the ball. Looks like still back to serve for the Bulldogs is Ivana Kazik. And here is the serve from the Bulldogs. Serve goes across over to Madison Yoder with the dig, set by Ketchum. Steinbrenner tries to get it across and does. And it's going to be Bulldogs this time and out of bounds off the hands of Madison Yoder. And now the Bulldogs have an 11-8 lead. Kazik continues to serve for the Bulldogs. Here's the serve. Goes over to Yoder with the dig. Set up front. And Steinbrenner's attack will be out of bounds. It goes just long and outside. And it's now 12-8, a 4-point advantage for the Bulldogs of Union College. Serve goes over to Mallory Livingston. Liddell with the dig that time for the Red Wolves. Blocked up front by IU East, but stays on their side of the net after it goes up high in the air. And there's a block up front once again by Steinbrenner and Gates. It's over to the back to Mallory Livingston, set by Ketchum. Here's Bailey Gates with the attack and kept alive by Summer Manning. And that's a point to Union. It's 13-8. So a 5-point advantage for the Bulldogs of Union College. And that's going to be a service error, a point to IU East. Makes the score 13-9. Here's the serve from Madison Yoder. Goes over to the Bulldog libero, and another point to Union. Gives them back a 5-point lead now. It's going to be 14-9. So a 5-point lead for the Union College Bulldogs. And going back to serve for them now is Bella Salazar, a 5'2 sophomore out of Arlington, Texas. Union has the 1-0 lead here in the match. 14-9 in the second set. Serve goes over to Madison Yoder, set by Abby Ketchum. And there was Bedell with the attack that time for the Red Wolves. It's going to be blocked up front by Durham and Bedell. And now it's 14-9. IU East has narrowed or 14-10, excuse me, and IU East now has the lead narrowed down to 4. Bella Pavey goes back to serve for IU East. Pavey, a freshman at IU East this year, and another point to the Red Wolves, 14-11. Out on the floor for the Red Wolves, Durham, Ketchum, Gates, Yoder, Pavey, and Livingston. And another point to the Red Wolves after the Bulldogs can't get it back across. 14-12. Here's the serve from Pavey, goes over into the back row to Calaza, and it's going to be a point to Union. Gives them back a 3-point advantage, 15-12. Calaza back to serve. Goes across to Madison Yoder with the dig. Pavey sets it, and Durham with the attack, but it's going to be 2 hits called on IU East. And that gives a point back to the Bulldogs, 16-12. And it's going to be out of bounds. Point to Union, 17-12. Talked about Anna Calaza, their server right now, and she is from Brazil. Went to Northwestern Oklahoma State last. Here's the serve, goes over to Mallory Livingston, set by Pavey. Ketchum gets it across. Bulldogs fighting to get the ball back across. They do so. Set by Pavey once more, and another point off of 2 hits. There's a 6-point lead now for the Bulldogs. So Coach Niekamp wants to take another timeout. We'll take one here on the Red Wolf Sports Network as well. We'll be right back with more IU East Volleyball right here on the Red Wolf Sports Network.
My husband Larry came to Reed because he was in respiratory distress, and he came in through the emergency room and almost dying. The ethic of camaraderie and teamwork and customer service was extraordinary. After a few weeks of care with the fantastic staff in the medical, the CCU, the rehab departments, everywhere, he came home to me in one piece and ready to start the next stage of his life. We absolutely believe that Reed Hospital and the people here saved his life.
And welcome back to IU East Volleyball on the Red Wolves Sports Network. 18-12 is the score here in the second set. Union has the lead over the IU East Red Wolves. Calaza back to serve. And just barely makes it across the net. Durham was able to get the attack that time. Hits it once more up in the front row. And goes into the back row, hit up into the air, but kept alive by the Bulldogs. Calaza realizes she has to get it back across. It does so successfully. Trying to take another chance at it. Durham with the kill that time for the Red Wolves, and now it is 18-13. So a 5-point lead for the Union College Bulldogs. Here's the serve from Hannah Best. Goes over into the back row on the Union side of the floor, and it's going to be out of bounds. Another point to the Red Wolves, 18-14. Have some subs coming into the game for Union. Looks like the only one that comes into the game is going to be number 14. That's Lauren Johnson, a 5'9 sophomore. And that's going to be a point to Union. And gives them back their 5-point lead that they've had several times throughout the match. They have a 19-14 lead. Going back to serve now for the Bulldogs, Chandler Gray, the 5'4 senior from Alexandria, Kentucky, to Campbell County High School. Set and blocked up front by Livingston. They're going to call 4 hits on Union. And that gives a point to the Red Wolves. Now 19-15. Serve goes over into the back row, and here's the attack. It goes out of bounds. And a point to the Red Wolves, 19-16. Sydney Durham goes back to serve. Sophomore middle blocker for the Red Wolves. And that's another point after they can't get it back across. 19-17. And now they would like to take a timeout as well. IU East trails Union 19-17 here in the second set and 1-0 in the match. We'll be right back with more IU East volleyball right here on the Red Wolves Sports Network.
Dylan Newman had a terrible dislocated shoulder after a bad dirt bike accident. The long-term solution, surgery and intense rehab.
I trusted Reed Orthopedics because they had already fixed my ankle. And within 4 months of my surgery, Dr. Miller and my Reed therapist, April, helped me to regain my motion and most of my strength. Thanks to Reed Ortho, I can get back to what I love. It's all about trust. Right, Dr. Miller?
Right here at Reed.
Right here in Richmond.
And welcome back to Red Wolves volleyball on the IU East Red Wolves Sports Network. 19-17 is the score. And the Red Wolves trying to rally back here in the second set to tie the match up. They trail the Union College Bulldogs right now, 19-17 in the second set, 1-0 in the match. Red Wolves have possession of the ball. Sydney Durham still back to serve for IU East. And here's the serve. Goes over. There's the set. And Pavey that time with the dig. Here's Livingston with the attack, and it's going to be a point to the Red Wolves. 1 point away from tying the second set up. Now 19-18. Also great to see a few of the IU East fans out here today. Made the long drive down, about 5 hours. And there's the point to Union. They now have a 2-point advantage once again. It's going to be 20-18. And a sub that just came in before I went to break. Lauren Johnson now back to serve. Here's the serve from Johnson. Goes over to Livingston with the dig. Set by Pavey. Livingston with the attack. And it's blocked up front, but Red Wolves call it, and they were able to see it from over there. It was out of bounds, so back to a 1-point game, 20-19. Abby Ketchum back to serve for the Red Wolves, looking at Coach Niekamp for some instructions. Here's the serve. The dig and the hit across the net, set by Ketchum, and the attack from Livingston, and now it is all tied up, 20-20 in the second set. Here's Abby Ketchum with the serve. This one's going to be up almost into the front row. And it's going to be blocked up front by Steinbrenner, and Livingston goes over to Hannah Best, and it's too far to her right. She's not able to get over to the ball, so now it's a 21-20 lead for the Union College Bulldogs in the second set. Going to put a new server back there for the Bulldogs. It's Carson Gray. They're back there to serve several times throughout the match. There's the dig by Yoder, set by Ketchum. Attacked by Steinbrenner. And this one lands for another point to the Bulldogs. 22-20. So a 2-point advantage for Union. And here's the serve. Goes over to Madison Yoder with the dig. Set by Ketchum. And Livingston with the attack that time. Kept alive. And there's Steinbrenner. Answers right back. And it's 22-21. Mallory Livingston goes back to serve for the Red Wolves. From Mississinawa Valley High School, here's the serve. And that's going to be out of bounds. Another point to Union. Gives them their 23rd point of the set, 23-21. Here's the serve from Ivana Kazik. And there's a kill for the Red Wolves. Now 23-22. So the Red Wolves trying to keep this one close and tie the match up. 23-22. Union has the lead. Madison Yoder back to serve. Red Wolves have the ball. Serve goes over into the back row. Going over out of bounds to chase after the ball. Here's the set, and Durham gets it over, and it's going to be inbounds. And that ties it up at 23 for the Red Wolves here in the second set. Yoder still serving for IU East. Chance to either take the lead or score two more and take the win here in the second set. Blocked up front by Durham. It's 24-23. The Red Wolves on a run. And after they have a 1-point lead, the head coach from Union College, that is Jeremy Wise, says something and he wants to take a timeout. So we'll take one as well. The Red Wolves have a 24-23 lead here in the second set, looking to tie the match up when we come back from this message right here.
Dylan Newman had a terrible dislocated shoulder after a bad dirt bike accident. The long-term solution, surgery and intense rehab.
I trusted Reed Orthopedics because they had already fixed my ankle. And within 4 months of my surgery, Dr. Miller and my Reed therapist, April, helped me to regain my motion and most of my strength. Thanks to Reed Ortho, I can get back to what I love. It's all about trust. Right, Dr. Miller?
Right here at Reed.
Right here in Richmond.
And welcome back to IU East Volleyball on the Red Wolves Sports Network. 24-23 here in the second set. And the Red Wolves have the ball. A chance to win. It's going to be set point. Trying to tie the match up if they can win the second set right here. Union has the 1-0 lead in the match. Here's the serve from Madison Yoder. Sophomore from Ben Davis. It's going to be set and goes over to IU East. And that's going to be a point for Union, and it's now 24-all. Just a reminder, you have to win by 2. So this one will go to at least 26 points. Goes over to Durham with the dig, set by Ketchum. Here's Bailey Gates. Goes up into the air off the dig by the Bulldogs. And Livingston able to keep it alive with the dig this time for IU East. Gates attack goes long. And now it's 25-24 in favor of Union. The Union looking to take a 2-0 lead if they can score right here. It's going to be set point off of the serve from Salazar. Set by Ketchum. Gates gets it across. This is going to go up in the air. No one there to cover, but a nice move there by Calaza to keep the ball alive. And this is going to be kept alive by her once more. Goes over and out of bounds. Ties it up at 25. So 25 all here in the second set. Bella Pavey goes back to serve for IU East. Here's the serve, goes over into the back left corner. And this is going to be out of bounds, a point to the Red Wolves. Now it's 26-25 in favor of IU East. Pavey will continue to serve. Another set point opportunity for the Red Wolves. Serve almost goes out of bounds, and it's going to be out of bounds, and this one will go to the Red Wolves, 27-25 here in the second set, and that ties the matchup at 1. So this match is going to go for at least 4 sets here at the Lindsey Wilson College Classic. So 27-25, Red Wolves take the second set. We'll be right back with more IU East volleyball right here on the IU East Red Wolves Sports Network right after this. Nice one there in the front row by number 21, Morgan Steinbrenner. And here's Morgan Steinbrenner. Her kill will be good. That time up front was Steinbrenner with the block. Steinbrenner with the kill. Here's Steinbrenner for the kill. Gently over the net. There's Steinbrenner with the kill. And welcome back to IU East Volleyball on the Red Wolves Sports Network. The match all tied up now 1-1 after Union College won the first set 25-19, and the Red Wolves just won the second set 27-25, and that has the match tied up 1-1. Looks like the Union College Bulldogs a little slow getting out of the huddle here, and they are all coming out onto the floor now. Starting here in the third set for the Red Wolves, looks like out on the floor is Hannah Best along with Madison Yoder, Mallory Livingston, Sydney Durham, Bella Pavey, and also Abby Ketchum. That's the starters out on the floor for the IU East Red Wolves here in the third set. Once again, the match all tied up 1-1 after the first set was won by Union College 25-19, and the Red Wolves won the second set 27-25, taking the Bulldogs into some extra points. Looks like we're ready to go here in the third set. Waiting on everyone to get situated out on the floor. Of course, the Union coach asking one of the officials a question really quick. And it looks like we are ready to get things rolling here in the third set. So here is the first serve of the third set. Goes over to Madison Yoder with the dig, set by Pavey, and Durham with the kill. And that starts off the third set with a 1-0 lead for IU East. There's the serve from Sydney Durham, and it's going to be an ace. And that's a 2-0 start for the Red Wolves. Here's another serve from Sydney Durham. Goes over into the back row, gets it across, and kept alive by Bella Pavey. Almost a collision there between Durham and Best. But here we go once again. Blocked up front by Livingston. And now it is a 3-0 start for the Red Wolves. IU East off to a great start. Here's the serve. Goes over into the back row. And this is going to be out of bounds. Another point to IU East. A 4-0 start. The best start of the match for either team. Here's the serve. And that'll be tipped out of bounds and puts Union on the board, 4-1. And their new server will come in. That's Summer Manning. He's a 5'2 senior from Taylor Mill, Kentucky. Went to Scott County High School. And that's going to be out of bounds off of Abby Ketchum. Her attack goes long, and it's 4-2. Serve goes across over to Hannah Best with the dig. Goes across as well, and Madison Yoder able to keep it alive. Best with the dig. Livingston has to get it across. And just passed. Now it's 4-3. What started off as a 4-0 lead for the Red Wolves has now been narrowed down to 1. Here's the serve. Goes across to Best with the dig. Set by Pavey. Steinbrenner gets blocked up front. Kept alive by the Red Wolves. And here we go once more. Attack goes across for a kill. And that ties it up 4-4. A lot of excitement here inside of the Bigger Sports Center. Here on the campus of Lindsey Wilson College. Here's the serve. Goes across to Hannah Best with the dig, set by Yoder. Livingston attack gets blocked, and the Bulldogs now have to play it. Once again, back to Yoder. And that'll be a point to IU East. Takes back a 1-point lead, 5-4. Here's the serve, goes over. Set by Gray, and chasing after it, Hannah Best, but not in time. And the Bulldogs tie it up once more, 5-5. So all tied up, and here is the serve from Salazar. It's blocked. Livingston, and it's going to be a set. Over to Ketchum with the dig. Yoder with one as well. Here's Missy Bedell. Goes up, hits the light. And Red Wolves take another chance at it. Set by Ketchum. Blocked up front, and it's going to be another point to Union. Taking a 1-point lead, 6-5. Salazar will continue to serve. Goes over to Livingston with the dig. Ketchum having to react and get a dig there as well. Bedell gets it across for the Red Wolves off the attack. And blocked up front. Kept alive by the Bulldogs. Goes over to the back row. Hannah Best with the dig. Here's Mallory Livingston. And chasing after it was number 25, Summer Manning. But it results in a point to the Red Wolves. And they tie it up 6-6. This third set looks to be another exciting one, just like the second set was. Here's Mallory Livingston with the serve. Goes over, there's the set. And it's going to be a point to Union after the Red Wolves can't return the ball. And it's now 7-6. So it looks like back to serve now is Ivana Kazik. Still waiting on her serve. Dribbles the ball a few more times, and here's the serve. Goes over to Madison Yoder with the dig. The set, and Bedell goes over to Calaza, and Red Wolves have it once more. Here's the easy hit by Livingston. And that's going to be another point to Union. Now 8-6. A 2-point advantage for the Bulldogs. Still anyone's game, though, here in the third set. Goes over to Yoder with the dig. Here's the set. And an attack by Steinberger up off the speakers. And Bedell with the dig this time for the Red Wolves. This goes off of Anna Calaza. And that'll give a point back to the Red Wolves, narrowing that lead down to 1, 8-7. So a 1-point lead. Here's the serve from Madison Yoder. It's going to be a service error. Gives a point back to Union. Now it's 9-7. Carson Gray goes back to serve. Serve goes over into the back row to Bailey Gates. Set by Ketchum. And there's the set. Gates gets it back across. And now the Bulldogs trying to deal with it. Goes back over to Yoder with the dig. And that's going to be a point to Union off of 2 hits, 10-7. Here's the serve from Gray. And gets blocked up front. Another point off of the 4 hits. Now it's 11-7. Four-point lead, and Gray will continue to serve for the Bulldogs. There's serve, goes over. And up into the air off of Calaza. She's going to hit it back across this time for Union, excuse me. And it's going to be tipped out of bounds, and a point to IU East. Makes it 11-8. So a 3-point lead for the Bulldogs from Union College. Here's the serve from Bella Pavey, goes across. The set and the attack. Pavey keeps it alive with the dig. Yoder has one as well. And Ketchum goes over to the Bulldogs this time. Going to go to the back row to Livingston with the dig. Pavey sets it. Here's Gates, and this is going to be 2 hits called on IU East. And that gives a 4-point lead to Union, 12-8. Now Anna Calaza will go back to serve. Serve goes over to Ketchum with the set. Durham gets it across for IU East and blocks it up front. A point to the Red Wolves, 12-9. Bailey Gates will serve for IU East now. Here's her serve, goes across. Davy and Yoder keep it alive. And that's going to be tipped out of bounds and a point to IU East, 12-10. And they make a correction to the official score. It's actually going to now be 13-9 in favor of Union. So a 4-point game here in the third set. Here's the serve. It's over. Ketchum hits it across, but it's going to be another point to Union. They're going to get her for reaching over the net. 14-9. And it's a timeout taken by IU East, who now trail by 5. 14-9. Union College has the lead. We'll take a timeout here as well on the Red Bull Sports Network. We'll be right back with more IU East volleyball right after this. Hello, I'm Caleb Gillock, the host of Inside IUE Sports, a show where we talk with coaches, players, and other guests about what's happening with IUE's athletics.
In the top 100 high school seniors.
Last year we were fortunate enough to do a variety of things on the track and then off to be able to be considered.
Make sure to join us on Friday nights at 8:30 p.m. on WETV Channel 20. And welcome back to IU East Volleyball here on the Red Wolves Sports Network. I'm Caleb Gillock, the voice of your IU East Red Wolves. Right now, the match tied up 1-1, and Union College has the lead here in the third set, 14-9. And you just saw that commercial there for Inside IU East Sports. And as of right now, it looks like September 18th is going to be the first aired episode of this season of Inside IU East Sports. So be sure to tune in September 18th. For Inside IUE Sports. Back to volleyball here at the Bigger Sports Center in Columbia, Kentucky at the Lindsey Wilson College Classic. Here is the serve over to the IU East Red Wolves. Mallory Livingston with the set. And there's the attack. It's going to be a point to the Red Wolves after it gets tipped out of bounds. And now it's a 4-point game, 14-10. Sydney Durham back to serve for IU East. Her serve goes over. And back over to Hannah Best. Best with the dig. Steinbrenner gets it across. And that's a point to the Red Wolves after it's tipped out of bounds. 14-11. So a 3-point lead for Union. IU East trying to close in on that. Here's the serve. Goes over and another point to IU East, 14-12. Here's Sydney Durham. Goes across. Goes across. Set by Pavey that time for the Red Wolves. And there's 4 hits. Going to be 15-12 now in favor of Union. And here is the serve from Union College. Goes across to Hannah Best with the dig. And that's going to be a 2-hit call. And it'll give a point to the Bulldogs, who now lead by 4, 16-12. Goes over to Hannah Best. Here's Abby Ketchum, and the Bulldogs are able to keep it alive. And that's going to be another point to Union. It is now 17-12 here in the third set. Serve goes across to Hannah Best. And this is going to be a point to Union. Looks like possibly a net violation there that time on the Red Wolves. So a 6-point lead for the Bulldogs of Union College here in the third set. And it goes across to Hannah Best with the dig, set by Pavey. Here's Steinbrenner this time, and it's going to be a net violation on her. And now it is 19-12. So a timeout is going to be taken down there on the floor as the Red Wolves now trail by 7. We'll take another timeout right here on the Red Wolves Sports Network.
Hello, I'm Caleb Gillock, the host of Inside IUE Sports, a show where we talk with coaches, players, and other guests about what's happening with IUE's athletics.
In the top 100 high school seniors.
Last year we were fortunate enough to do a variety of things on the track and then off to be able to be considered.
Make sure to join us on Friday nights at 8:30 p.m. on WETV Channel 20.
And welcome back to IU East Volleyball on the Red Wolves Sports Network. IU East has a 7-point deficit right now in the third set, 19-12. The match is all tied up 1-1 after Union College won the first set 25-19, and IU East won the second set 27-25. And there was a tail that time for the Red Wolves. It goes out of bounds, and it's going to be a point to IU East, makes it 19-13. Here in the third set. Here's the serve from Abby Ketchum. Goes over into the Bulldog back row. Here's the set and the attack. Goes over to Hannah Best once more. Here's Missy Bedell with the attack. Kept alive by the Bulldogs. And Steinbrenner hits it back across for IU East. And blocks it this time. A point to the Red Wolves. 19-14. So a 5-point lead for Union College here in the third set. Abby Ketchum still back to serve for IU East. Here's her serve, goes across. And it's going to be an attack by number 22. That's Maggie McGraw. She keeps the ball alive here for the Bulldogs and goes over to Madison Yoder with the dig. And blocked up front. This is going to be a point to IU East after being in the net. And it's now 19-15. There's the serve from Ketchum. And it's going to be a point to Union, 20-15. It's going to send Bella Salazar back to serve for the Bulldogs once again. Been back there to serve a lot throughout the course of this afternoon's match for Union. Goes way back to Madison Yoder. Her dig gets it back across. And there's a attack. Makes it 21-15. Once again, IU East comes into this matchup with a record of 2-4. Bulldogs come into the matchup 1-1. And this is going to be a hit back over to the Bulldogs. Find a little space, but it goes out of bounds. And that point goes to the Red Wolves. Now it's 21-16. 2 IU East wins have been on a Saturday during a tournament. And the 4 losses have been on Friday nights during a tournament. Here's the serve. Back across. Set over to Yoder. And a nice attack there by Steinbrenner this time. And it's down to a 4-point game, 21-17. It's going to send Mallory Livingston back to serve for IU East. But before we have a serve, Gallows is going to bring a towel out of the floor and clean up from where one of the players slid across the floor. We talked last night about how warm it was here inside of the Bigger Sports Center. And it is pretty warm in here again today. It's just not as late in the day, so there's not been as much time for humidity and condensation to build up down there on the playing surface. Here's the serve for Mallory Livingston. And it's going to be a service error. A point to Union, and it's now 22-17. Whiting on the serve. Goes back to Livingston. Catch him with the dig. Gates with the attack, and that's a point to the Red Wolves. And it's now 22-18. So here's Madison Yoder back to serve for IU East. And this is going to be into the net, 22-19. Hit across. And Gates this time with the attack, kept alive by the Bulldogs. Over to Mallory Livingston, and Yoder able to keep it alive that time. It's going to be a point to IU East after it's tipped out of bounds, 22-20. And there's another timeout taken by the Bulldogs of Union College. We'll take a quick break and be right back with more IU East volleyball right here on the Red Wolf Sports Network. And welcome back to IU East Volleyball on the Red Wolves Sports Network. The match between the IU East Red Wolves and the Union College Bulldogs all tied up 1-1, but here in the third set, it is now 22-20 in favor of Union College. They're fighting to keep the ball alive on their side of the floor. Here's the set by Ketchum, and Durham tried to lightly hit it across the net that time, but it was blocked up front by the Bulldogs. And there's going to be another point to Union. 23-20. So a 3-point lead now for the Bulldogs of Union College. Bulldogs up by 3. Here's the serve. Goes over to Gates in the back row with the dig. And it's going to be hit by the Bulldogs over to Madison Yoder, set by Ketchum. Here's Gates with the attack once more. Kept alive by the Bulldogs. And goes over to Madison Yoder, out of bounds, off of her hands. And now it is 24-20. Brings up set point for the Bulldogs. Here's the set point serve. Goes over to Gates. Gets him with the dig, and this one goes up into the air off of the rafters in the ceiling. Back across once more to Bedell with the dig. Set by Ketchum. Here's Gates with the attack. This one falls, and it's going to be a point to the Red Wolves. That makes it 24-21. Red Wolves still hanging on here late in the third set. Send Bella Pavey back to serve from Union County High School. There's the set blocked up front by Durham and Gates. And goes over to Pavey, set by Yoder, and here is Ketchum. She gets it across that time for IU East. And a block up front by Gates and Durham. And now it is 24-22. Red Wolves still hanging on. Pavey will continue to serve for IU East. Here's the serve. Goes over to Calaza. Ketchum had to try to hurry and get it across, but it's going to be hit out of bounds off of Abby Ketchum. And that gives the win to Union 25-22 here in the third set. And they will lead the match 2-1 after picking up a 3-point win there in the third set. So a 2-1 lead here in going into the fourth set. We'll be right back with more IU East volleyball coming up right after this. Up into the front row, and right there, Gates with a nice kill to end the first set. There is Gates with the kill. Gates with the kill. Here's Gates with a kill, and Bailey Gates back to serve now. Here's her serve. That's going to be an ace. Gates with the kill. And Gates with the kill. Blocked up front by Bailey Gates. The ball there is Gates with a nice kill. Gates that time. And right there was Bailey Gates up in the front row for the Red Wolves. And welcome back to IU East Volleyball on the Red Wolves Sports Network. Right now, Union College has the 2-1 lead after winning the third set 25-22 and the first set 25-19. The Red Wolves won the second set with a score of 27-25, taking the Bulldogs into a few extra points there to pick up the second set win. Once again, Union College, they have the 2-1 lead in the match. So we are about ready to go here with the fourth set. Out on the floor, Livingston, Ketchum, Durham, Yoder, Pavey, and Gates. Gates back to serve for IU East. And her serve goes back and out of bounds for a service error, so that will give a point to Union to start off the fourth set. So a 1-0 lead. Here's the serve. Goes over to Mallory Livingston. Set by Pavey. Here's Livingston. This one goes long and out of bounds, and now it's 2-0 Union. Here's the serve from Chandler Gray. And a nice attack there by Sydney Durham. That gets the Red Wolves on the board here in the fourth set. And that makes the score 2-1. Here's the serve. Goes over into the back row to Gray. And this will be out of bounds. A point to the Red Wolves. Ties it up 2-2. Durham back to serve. Here's her serve. Goes over into the back row to Calazar. And it's going to be a point to the Red Wolves. 3-2. IU East has the lead. Serve goes across. There's the set and the attack. And that'll be a point to Union. They tie it up 3-3. So it looks like Madison Yoder will be going back to serve for IU East. Right now she's going for a walk underneath the bleachers trying to get the ball. That's actually a point to Union, so it's going to be 3-3, and Union will serve. Back to serve for Union is Summer Manning, a 5'2 senior. Here's the set by Pavey. Ketchum gets it across for the Red Wolves. And it's going to be hit up into the air, saved by Yoder, off of one of the rafters, and no time for anyone to react. That gives another point to Union, 4-3. Here's Manning back to serve. And it's going to be a service error. Ties it up at 4. It's the serve from Ketchum. And another point to Union, makes it 5-4. So a 5-4 lead for Union College here in the fourth set. They also have the 2-1 lead in the match. Now here is the serve from Ella Salazar. And that results in a point to the Red Wolves. Makes it 5-all. So back and forth here in the fourth set between IU East and Union College. Blocked up front by Steinbrenner. And that's going to be an attack by her. And now it is 6-5. IU East has the 1-point lead. All the IU East players talking that time about what just happened, so looks like the Red Wolves beginning to communicate more effectively as a team. And that's going to be a point back to Union. Ties it up at 6. That's going to put Ivana Kazik back to serve once again. Mentioned earlier about how the humidity and condensation here inside of the Bigger Sports Center was a little bit of a problem during last night's matchup. This goes over, and here's Yoder this time with the dig. Bedell with the attack. It's going to go back out of bounds off of Summer Manning, and it's a point to the Red Wolves. It'll make it 7-6. So a 1-point lead for IU East with Madison Yoder back to serve. The set by Ketchum. Bedell with the attack once again. Goes back to Manning. And that's going to be a point to Union. Once again, we're tied up at 7. Gray continues to serve. Goes over to Mallory Livingston, set by Ketchum. Ketchum with the set once again. Here is Bedell. Goes back into the air, picked up by Gray. Calaza gets it back across for the Bulldogs. But Durham has an attack, kept alive by, it looked like Salazar back there that time. And lands right in front of Gray. It's Carson Gray and puts the Red Wolves up 8-7. Sends Bella Pavey back to serve. There's the serve from the freshman. And that's going to be an ace, a point to the Red Wolves, 9-7. Now the largest lead for either team here in the fourth set. Here's the serve from Pavey. Going to be a service error after it goes into the net. All the serve. And Union's going to try to tie it up. Serve goes over to Mallory Livingston. Goes over to the left side, but saved by Ketchum. Attack blocked up front by Durham, and she's going to get called for being over the net that time, and it's all tied up 9-9. So here in the fourth set, looks like the key is going to be whichever team gets a rally started is going to be the one that takes the win here in the fourth set. And now it's 10-9 in favor of the Bulldogs. We saw it kind of happen like that back at Grace College last weekend. We talked about how it was pretty even between the two teams up until about the 12th or 13th point, and then finally one team or the other would start to pull away. And we'll see what happens here at the Lindsey Wilson College Classic. This goes over, saved by Calaza. And it goes over to Ketchum, but it's going to be 2 hits called on the Red Wolves. 11-9. Calaza is the server that time for the Bulldogs. Goes over to Catholic that time for the Bulldogs. And this is going to be a point to the Red Wolves. There's that lead down to 1, 11-10. So Bailey Gates will serve for the Red Wolves now. And she's going to run over and switch out the volleyball. The serve, and it's going to be hit out of bounds, all tied up once more, 11-all. Been keeping an eye on our stream throughout the broadcast. Nice to have the score graphic back on there. Got that all figured out for today. And hope that all of you back at home or wherever you may be watching our broadcast are enjoying it. This is going to be another point to Union, and it is now 12-11. Union leads by 1. Chandler Gray back to serve for the Bulldogs. And it's going to be hit. Galaza, nice save, hits the ground hard afterward, and a nice kill up front by the Red Wolves. And now it's all tied up 12-12. Here's Sydney Durham with the serve for the Red Wolves. Goes over, here's the set, blocked up front by Steinbrenner, and the Red Wolves now have the lead, 13-12. Remind you about our broadcast coming up this evening once again. That's going to be at 7 p.m. back in Indiana. It'll be a 6 o'clock start here in Kentucky, so be sure to join us at 7 p.m. IU East time for tonight's broadcast against the Bethel University Wildcats. And there's a point. All tied up now, 13 all between Union College and IU East. Here's the serve from Summer Manning. Goes over to the set by Pavey. And that's going to be tipped out of bounds, and a point to the Red Wolves. Gives them a 1-point advantage, 14-13. And a tight matchup here in the fourth set. Neither team has taken a timeout yet. Largest lead has been 2 points. That's going to be 2 hits called against IU East. And another point back to Union. 14-14. Largest lead by either team has been 2 points here in the fourth set. And whichever team was down by 2 manages to come back and tie it up, trying to take a 1-point lead. There's a kill by Steinbrenner, or not Steinbrenner, that was Livingston, excuse me. And it's 15-14 now. Livingston joined the 1,000 kills club at IU East last fall. Adele with the dig, and Ketchum featuring the attack for the Red Wolves, and goes over to Abby Ketchum once more. Set by Yoder. Livingston with the attack, goes over to Calaza. And that's going to be another point to Union. 15-15. That'll send Ivana Kazik back to serve. A lot of energy over there on the Union College bench. Going to be hit up, almost hits the Raptor. Gates gets it across off the attack. Here's the set and the attack. A little miscommunication there between Yoder and Livingston. And that's going to be a 1-point advantage now for Union College, 16-15. And Steinbrenner's attack is going to go long. And that'll be a point to Union as well. 17-15, now a 2-point lead for Union College. Tying for the largest lead in the set. As the serve goes over to Yoder. Set by Ketchum. Here's Gates with the attack. Gets blocked. Red Wolves keep it alive and back across. Set by Yoder. Here's Ketchum with the set as well. Steinbrenner with the kill. And now it's 17-16. One-point lead for Union College. The Red Wolves trying to tie it right here as Madison Yoder will go back to serve for IU East. The serve goes over to number 22, Maggie McGraw. They get it back over to Madison Yoder with the dig. Set by Ketchum. Here's Gates once again. And a point to the Red Wolves. They tie it up 17 all. And they end up reversing it and giving a point to Union. They'll have a 2-point lead now. So they must have got her on the tip out of bounds. Goes over. Here's the hit by Durham. Set by Yoder. Here's Gates once again. She gets blocked. It's going to be out of bounds. A point to the Red Wolves. And it's 18-17. Bella Pavey goes back to serve for the Red Wolves. And here's the serve from Pavey. Goes over into the back row to McGraw. And that's another point to Union, giving them a 19-17 lead. Union trying to end the match. IU East trying to keep it going as they trail 2-1 here in the fourth set. And 19-17. Here is the point to the Red Wolves. And that narrows it down to a 1-point game once again. The Red Wolves will have a chance to tie off of this serve. Trail by 1. Here's the serve from Bailey Gates. And it's going to be a service error, a point to Union. And they now score their 20th point in the fourth set and have a 20-18 lead. Chandler Gray back to serve for the Bulldogs. Here's her serve. Goes over to Madison Yoder with the dig. Set by Pavey. Here's Livingston with the kill. And it's now 20-19. A 1-point advantage for the Bulldogs of Union College. Sydney Durham goes back to serve for IU East. And here's her serve. Goes across over to Calaza. And that's going to be a point to Union. Going to be called out of bounds. Still a 2-point lead for the Bulldogs. Sends Manning back to serve. The serve goes over. Going to be set by Pavey and a point to Union off of 2 hits, 22-19. And that's going to be a timeout taken by Coach Niekamp as her Red Wolves trail by 3. We'll take a timeout as well and be right back with more IU East volleyball right here on the Red Wolves Sports Network. And we're back with more IU East volleyball on the Red Wolves Sports Network. A quick timeout taken by Coach Niekamp. She only talked to the girls for a very short period of time. They were actually back out onto the floor only 20 seconds. Actually, a little more than 20 seconds. About 30 seconds into the timeout, they were already back out on the floor. So a quick timeout. Obviously got her point across to her girls and was ready to go back playing volleyball. Here's the attack by Ketchum, and it's going to be tipped down the bounds. It'll be a point to the Red Wolves, and the Red Wolves will now hit 20 points. It's 22-20. Ketchum back to serve for IU East. Goes over, and here is The ball over to Ketchum, who dives for it, is able to save. Here's Livingston. She gets blocked, and it's now 23-20. A 3-point lead for Union, who's trying to close out the match here in the fourth set. It's going to send Salazar back to serve. Waiting on her serve, and here it is. Goes across to Madison Yoder. Cadell with the dig. Yoder gets it into the net, and that makes it 24-20. So that brings up match point for Salazar and the Union College Bulldogs. Waiting on the serve. Goes over to Yoder, slides across the floor, and that's going to be a point to Union to close out the match. And Union is going to take the match 3-1 after winning the fourth set 25-20, and the match 3-1 with scores of 25-19, 25-27, 25-22, and 25-20. And the Red Wolves will now drop to 2-5 on the season, and Union College will improve to 2-1. So, good effort there by the Red Wolves. Definitely not an easy one, and definitely not a lack of effort in that game. The Red Wolves were definitely, I think they played very well in this matchup, considering how close it was all the way throughout the match. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break here on the Red Wolves Sports Network and give Coach Abby Niekamp a chance to get up here from the floor for the postgame show right here on the Red Wolves Sports Network. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. And welcome back to the IU East Volleyball postgame show here on the Red Wolves Sports Network. And joining me now is head coach Abby Niekamp. Coach, obviously a tough matchup there against Union College. Tell us a little bit about today's game.
Today's game, wow. We were so up and down the whole match. It's like when we got on a run, they did something to get their run back. So It was a tough match. It was definitely back and forth. But we did a lot of great things on our side. We're just trying to eliminate the errors right now.
And now in a situation where it is back and forth like that, what can the girls do as a team to prevent those situations and possibly take the lead?
We always try to focus on the little things, focus on our footwork and defense and making sure we're getting to the right spot, focusing on loading on the block and making sure that we're reading the block right. So we just go back to the little things and make sure we're communicating about it.
All right, anything that you saw in that matchup that the girls need to work on during the Bethel matchup later this evening?
We got so close in some of those sets right there. Some of them we started off strong, some we finished strong. So we kind of just need to put it all together and put together a complete set.
All right, Coach, thank you for your time.
Thanks.
Once again, the Red Wolves fall 3-1 to Union College with scores of 25-19, 27-25, 25-22 and 25-20. The match that the Red Wolves won was the one where the Red Wolves took them to extra points and won 27-25. But the Red Wolves come up short 3-1 to Union College. Once again, Red Wolves now 2-5 on the season after this first loss, and Union College improves their record to 2-1. It's the first time they've been out is this weekend. Once again, don't forget to tune back in later this evening at 7 o'clock IU East time, where the Red Wolves will be playing Bethel University out of Tennessee. They'll be playing the Wildcats coming up at 7 o'clock. That's 6 o'clock here in Kentucky. So be sure to tune in for that one as well. We'll have that one here on the Red Wolves Sports Network. Red Wolves seeking a win after this loss here early this afternoon. Once again, 3-1, Union College takes the lead. Thanks for watching, and we will see you on our next broadcast.